or tangential, while maintaining an air of perfect politeness and reasonableness. Oh, I'm just asking questions. I'm just trying to have a civil debate. But the goal isn't understanding or truth. It's to wear the other person down, provoke an emotional reaction, then point to that reaction as proof the other side is irrational or closed minded. Does that sound familiar? You've probably seen it in comment threads on social media, in heated discussions about faith, politics, morality, science, culture. A person states a view rooted in scripture or experience. Instead of engaging the substance, someone jumps in. Source, prove it. What about this edge case? Can you define every question shifts endlessly? That's what's annoying about it. Even if you provide an argument, even if you provide a source, they don't care.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and I do realize how I came off like that. I didn't understand that. I'm really sorry about it. Um, are you interested in having a conversation?
Well, I want to do a debate. Like I made an argument that for math to work, it has to map onto reality. So because math is uncreated, eternal, unchanging, we need some reality that has those attributes. Because
Okay,
if
yeah,
nothing in
I get
reality,
that.
yeah. So then I'm putting a candidate on the table that Jesus is that reality. And if you reject that, you're now making a counterclaim that there is some other alternative necessary reality for which this conversation would be even possible or intelligible or meaningful.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you in the beginning. Atheism doesn't make any claims. Belief, religion.
You're not responding to what I'm
How old
saying.
are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, I'm 64. I have a lot more experience under my belt studying metaphysics, logic, philosophy, and theology. I'm going to tell you point blank, and I will explain in detail my statement. You don't have the foggiest idea of what you're talking about. You're just an opinionated 19-year-old. Okay? Now, the standard definition of atheism in the English language, in a complete cross-section of reference works, dictionaries, encyclopedias, and including philosophical reference works. The standard definition of atheism is the denial of the existence of God or gods. Defining atheism as a psychological state merely absent a positive belief is not the standard definition of atheism. Number two, it's stupid to define it that way, because then it will include two mutually contradictory positions. Okay? So are we clear?
Not only that,
Atheism,
if it's just your belief in your mind that it's not saying anything true about reality, it's kind of
Yeah.
meaning. It's not.
so
There's no point.
if you're going to tell us what the standard definition of atheism is, are you invoking the standard definition of atheism? Yes or no?
I am not invoking it.
Okay, so then all you're simply doing is you're insisting that we adopt your definition, where atheism is simply a psychological report wherein you invoke that you have an absence of a positive belief in God. But I can show that that's categorically false by an analytical walkthrough. Are you prepared to do that?
Are you going to allow me to talk about it?
Dude, ignore something I say to you one more time and you will be ejected. Okay? Now, if you're dude, ignore something I say to you one more time and you will be ejected. Okay? Now, if you're a 19-year-old young man, then don't act like a 16-year-old at the cafeteria table. Are you prepared to have your claim that your atheism is a mere absence of a positive belief in God? Are you prepared to have it gone through analytically?
Sure.
Okay. When one is presented with the concept of God, one will either have to accept it or not accept it. The non-acceptance of it functions as a de facto denial, given the characteristics and nature of God being defined as the single causal first principle of everything, the ground of all being. So if you do not accept that God is, for whatever reason, then that is a functional denial. It may not be a formal denial, but it is nonetheless a functional denial. Did you understand what I just said?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you can no longer claim unless you're prepared to give me a formal rebuttal to what I just said. Then you're no longer at liberty to present atheism as a lack of belief. Okay.
Where did you get your definition of atheism from?
Okay, it's called research. Okay, I've gone through as many dictionary and encyclopedia definitions as I can, and I've also consulted scholarly publications and works. The standard definition of atheism is the denial of God or gods. Now, people like you, which are millions, atheists, you don't actually do a very careful scholarly type of approach, even informally, as to the definition. You are adopting a popular internet meme that is designed to change the standard definition of atheism from the denial of God to a psychological state that is merely absent of belief in God. The reason why you and thousands of other atheists on the internet are trying to change the standard definition than a positive assertion that God does not exist. That way you can retain identifying as a God denier by calling yourself an atheist, but then redefine it as a psychological state, merely being unconvinced. That is not an accurate representation either of the standard definition of atheism or what you actually do in practice. Okay, now do you have a rebuttal to anything that I've said?
So your claim is that
I'm about to kick you if you don't answer my question.
I am answering it.
Final warning: asking me a question is not answering my question.
I'm not asking.
I already told you already. Goodbye. You're done.
Oh, jeez.
You see what imbeciles these people are? Notice how you ask them a direct question, and it's like you've been traumatized by a frontal lobe injury.
He didn't answer any question. I asked him to leave like 10 minutes ago, and he wouldn't leave, which tells you there's something wrong with him. He was doing this.
How many times do we make a direct statement or ask a direct, clear?
I already asked him before,
and they just ignore. They simply ignore what we say, and they're just waiting until we stop talking for them to sit there and give us their 19-year-old genius.
Well, I didn't even go the definition route. I just said, well, is your atheism saying anything about reality? This is before you joined. And then he didn't even know how to answer
Yeah,
that.
it's a 19-year-old moron. You see, they're so accustomed to talking with their peers that they're just clueless when they're talking with somebody that is, hands down at a much higher intellectual plane.
That's why, I don't like going the definition. Then we're just gonna bicker about definitions. Be like, I don't like that.
No, there's no bickering about it.
Well, that's all they're gonna do.
If they adopt lactheism, they're just either ignorant or they're lying.
We're talking about liars. So that's why.
They are.
So I think when you, instead of talking about definitions, let's expose their lying and if we ask a question more like,
no, Nick, you're just a 19-year-old idiot. Goodbye.
If we ask something like, is your atheism saying anything about the external world or not? That exposes their lie. You see what I'm saying? Better than going, oh, you're using a idiosyncratic definition.
No, we're just dealing with dumb, uneducated internet atheists who are trying to adopt that atheism is a lack of belief and it's na boo boo. They win. They just redefine terms.
Yeah. So I listened to the first half of the debate with Jay Dyer, this guy, and he's trying to argue He's trying to argue for monism, priority monism, but then he's also trying to be an empiricist at the same time, which is hilarious because the empiricists would reject monism and they were like atomists.
Well, how would, as an empiricist, how would you verify monism?
Exactly. They were like atomists, right? And like nominalists and stuff like that, right?
Well, even whether somebody's a monist or an atomist, it makes a difference.
No, but I'm saying like
there's no way to experientially.
No, but I'm saying like
verify that.
I'm saying like he exposed his ignorance to philosophy because he's combining two schools of philosophy that are opposed to each other. That's what I'm saying. Empiricism and like priority monism are schools of thought that are like Aristotle wasn't an empiricist, but anyways, so this Jay Dyer pretty much eviscerated him. So now we're into the back and forth section of the debate.
I don't know why you just sit there and go, please leave, please leave. You're wasting your time. These are people that we're dealing with a steady stream of morons who are not aware.
Because that's the content I was trying to go for.
Hello, my fellow apes. How are you guys doing?
I'm not an ape.
An atheist.
I'm not an ape.
I am an atheist, thankfully.
The standard definition of atheism is that there is no God. Okay, we're playing this little lactheist game. So tell us why there's no God.
Because gods are for the weak, and every time someone tries to justify me, I can't even finish the goddamn sentence, my guy.
I'm going to interrupt you because what you were saying is so colossally stupid.
That isn't borrowed. See, if this is what I'm talking about, you're scared. You're scared.
Okay,
that's what you are.
These people, you see, these people are mentally ill.
Oh man,
yeah, mentally ill. This is what they're left with: going on to the internet and trolling and being obnoxious and rude. Okay.
This Johnny guy, I think he's the grift guy. I don't know. I think he's probably just don't even talk to him.
Numeral one with any time or just nope.
Okay, so this guy brought up the problem of the Trinity. Why 3-1? How 3-1? How 3-1?
How theologically ignorant can you be?
And Jay had a clever response about. He said, "Well, the number 3 is both one number and it's also 3, right? So there's 3 and 1 right there."
I'm on this one. So open floor. So I'll just start with Neil. I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the numeral 3.
So he's holding up like a piece of paper with the number 3. Oh, you got some background noise. Do you mind like muting if you're not talking, Darth? Is that all right? No.
Is the numeral 1 thing or is it 3?
Okay, what?
Let's start with Neil. I'm not talking about the book.
It's saying I have to remove
I'm talking about the numeral 3.
What the heck?
Neil, I'm not talking about the book.
It's saying I have to remove
I'm talking about the numeral 3.
What the heck?
Is the numeral?
It just said I had to remove Darth. And I'm restricted because Darth Dawkins does not comply with our guidelines. What? Bullying. Oh gosh. What the heck, man? They just mass reported Darth.
1 thing or is it 3?
Well, it's one number, so it's the number 3.
So it's 1 and 3.
But it's the number 3. But it's one thing.
Yeah. So that's 3 things and 1 thing.
It's not 3 things. It's one thing.
The number 3 is not 3.
The number 3 can count. You can count 3 things using the number 3.
It's 3 and 1.
It's just the number 3 on a piece of paper. That means nothing.
Right. So it's 1 and 3.
No, it's not. It's one thing.
It's not.
It's one thing with the number 3 on it.
Oh,
we use
It's one thing with the number 3 on it.
3. Use 3 to count things. Don't just put 3 on something and it becomes 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
Okay. So all numbers are only one thing.
This has a bunch of numbers on it. Does that make it the numbers?
Well, again, whether you think it has ontological existence or not is different from the fact that the number 3 is not just 1; it's also 3.
But it's one thing that has the number 3 on it. That's literally
what does the
reality.
number 3 signify, Neil?
3.
Thank you.
But that doesn't make the number. That doesn't make that 3 things. That's just what the numbers.
This is also a signifier, right?
Yeah, but if you
so
gave me that, I would
1
say
and
3
3 are
what?
signifiers, right?
If you gave me that to signify 3, I would say 3 what?
It
3
doesn't
books.
matter.
Yes, it does matter.
No,
We're
it
trying
doesn't.
to be coherent here, right? Coherent is
No,
that
if it's a signifier, then 1 is also a signifier.
so you're just saying 1 is 3. Great. Gets me nowhere.
No, I'm
Not
saying it's
convincing.
3 and 1, Neil. Are you fundamentally unable to understand that?
No, I understand what you're trying to say. It doesn't make sense though.
Okay, then is the
1
number
can't be
1
3.
is the
Either
number
1 is 1
also
or
a
3 is 3.
signifier? This is fundamentally stupid. Is the number 1 a signifier?
Yes,
Okay, how many is that?
that's 1.
Okay. How many is that one? How many is that one?
That's a 1 and a 2.
No, this.
2.
Okay, so is this 1 object itself, the symbol itself?
The symbol is 2.
Thank you.
But
Thank
but you can't say that this book is now 2 things
But
now.
1 is all.
Oh my
1
god,
is also.
he's thinking about the book. He's talking about the mathematical object. Welcome, neighbor.
Hey,
Your mic is really bad.
Okay, give me a second.
What is wrong with people, dude?
I know, but the book
So
is
it's
still
a,
one
you already
thing.
admitted it's a both and, Neil.
You asked me what the symbol means. You slipped that in there. The
Signifier. Both. There's
Nice
signifying
try.
1.
didn't work.
This is 1 object that's a signifier of 2 things.
Right, but you're still holding one thing in your hand.
I'm talking
So-
about the numbers, Neil, not
I know.
the book.
Number means 2. I get that. But
Okay.
the number means 2. I get that. But
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Hello?
That was really funny, man.
Okay. What do you want to say? Do you want to debate?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you Christian?
No.
Okay. Well, I make a foundational argument that the Bible is necessary for science to work or for math to work.
When did I don't. Why are you assuming I want to debate about that point?
What do you want to debate?
And the Bible is demonstrably true.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
You just talked about science. I'm not talking about science.
I'm talking about the Bible. I'm saying that for science to work, the Bible has to be true. Science works, therefore the Bible's true.
How does science need the Bible to be true?
Because science is a study of a rational order and pattern to nature. So we would need Jesus, the rational ordering principle, to provide.
You believe that Jesus is the rational ordering principle, but you don't have any proof into saying that he's fact.
He's the only candidate to be the rational ordering principle. There's no other candidate.
There have been candidates before Jesus Christ.
Put one on the table,
That
bitch.
failed that order.
Put one on the table.
Hinduism is older than Jesus.
Put one on the table. What's the
I
candidate?
just put one on the table.
No, you didn't. What's the rational ordering principle in Hinduism?
I don't know. I don't study the religion, but I'm
Well,
sure.
then what the fuck are you? Okay,
Since
dude.
that Hinduism has a rational
Dude,
order. That's how
this
religion works.
this discussion's pointless if you're gonna just jerk me around. So, do you want to defend your view, or do you want to act like a coward?
I absolutely defend my view.
So, what in your view? What's the rational ordering principle? I say it's Jesus.
Okay, so you don't want me. You just asked me to defend my view, but then you interrupted me when I wanted to defend my view. Are you gonna let me?
Wah. Oh, poor
So
baby.
you don't want me
Oh,
to defend my view because you're scared of it.
oh. What's the rational ordering principle? I say, oh,
Defend my view because you're scared of it.
oh. What's the rational ordering principle? I say Jesus. What say you?
So you're asking me two questions in one. Which one do you want me to answer?
What is the rational ordering principle? I say it's Jesus.
How is it Jesus? Just prove to me that's Jesus. Demonstrate to me how it's Jesus. Saying
Right,
that's
I
the
don't-
case does not prove anything. You're not demonstrating something. You're stating something.
You're
Big difference.
You're smuggling in that demonstration is possible without reference to the rational ordering principle. How do we demonstrate anything without a rational? How can we demonstrate?
The Bible is the standard of truth, but you have no.
There's no rational order. How do you have proof?
No proof to show me that that is true.
Can I?
Nothing to prove that the Bible is true. You cannot use it as a standard of truth or a rational order if it doesn't
Oh my
exist.
God.
And you don't have anything to prove that the Bible exists.
When you say the word proof, you're smuggling order. You're smuggling in the rational order in principle, but you haven't identified it. What is it?
I'm not smuggling anything. I'm trying to tell you that you cannot logistically show me that the Bible is real.
Well, then I would just counter that.
You are able to do it. You will prove me wrong with absolute certainty, but you can't do it. Prove me wrong with absolute certainty, but you can't do it. You cannot do that.
I would just point out that you're actually standing on the Bible to deny the Bible, and you're just denying the ground you're standing on. So you're just a schizophrenic, crazy person. I'm going to ask you to leave because I can't reason with the schizophrenic.
If you have to revert to insults, you cannot.
All right. Well, good luck in hell. What's up, nut job? Hey, crazy person. What's going on?
Yeah, good thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, not being crazy like you fucking psycho, insane person. What would you like to say? What kind of crazy shit do we got today?
You know what they say, there's no hate like Christian love.
Yes, nut job.
Yeah, I'm wondering, by the way, very mature and sensible debate with the previous guest. I thought you handled that really well.
That's magical thinking.
Who said the universe is ordered, by the way?
Well, do you think it's magical thinking? Are we engaged in magical thinking?
Well, you said that Jesus is necessary to explain the sort of rational order of the universe, but who said that the universe is rational and ordered? Can you prove to me that it is, or give me some evidence that it is?
Well, if you want to argue it's your magical thinking, then I'm fine with that. You can be a magical thinker. You don't have to be a rational person. That's fine. That's like what I said. That's why I say you're a nut job.
If I ask you a question, you can answer it. You can say no. So if I ask, can you demonstrate to me why the universe is ordered and rational, and you can't, you can just say no. That is the word you're allowed to use.
This is fucking crazy. So like, if there's no even demonstrate or prove something, I couldn't without a rational ordering principle. So you're smuggling in a rational ordering principle without identifying or defending it. And it's like you're engaging in magical thinking. So it's pointless talking to you because you're you're total lunatic. You're schizo. You're like schizo thinking. You're not. So you're like schizo thinking. You're not. You're connecting events and facts and that don't have a connection. They're like really reporting me. They're trying to shut me down. They're reporting the shit out of my stream. They're so mad. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm saying the truth. I'm not gonna stop saying the truth. I hate my haircut. I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm just gonna get it all short. I'm just getting it all like super short. I hate my hair. Dunning-Kruger. Okay, dude. I'm willing to debate anyone. I'm not scared of any of you. I ain't scared.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, weirdo. Yeah, Darth, the censorship isn't any better.
Okay, so Tove, come on up and back up what you say. If you don't, it's still shocking and surprising every day how grotesquely immature these people are.
I gotta.
Just called me a weirdo for no reason.
You're a complete. You're Blumbo. You're a complete. Dude. You're a freak. You're a mentally subnormal freak. Like that's real.
That is very
dude, is it, or is it just true, or is it just obviously
I
true?
have not insulted
Okay.
you or anything to you.
Yeah, but you're killing the messenger.
Try and have a conversation.
Yeah, you're unaliving the messenger. I'm just the messenger. I'm a truth teller.
Asking the messenger for
I'm a truth teller. Hey, I'm a truth teller. If you don't like the truth, you can leave. No one's forcing you to be here. I'm a truth teller.
I'll figure this out in short order, what do you want to talk about, Blumbo? Because the moment you descend into irrationality or immature teenage behavior, without further warning, I will reject you. So bring your adult game. Listen, I'm talking. Okay, goodbye. There we go. You're done.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you see, you tell them right to their face, okay? Take your hands out of the pocket, or I'm going to shoot. Take your hands out of your pockets.
Science isn't science is magical thinking, Darth. There's no rational ordering principle. We don't need that.
That's what I don't understand why you allow Dr. Quantum up. The guy is a lunatic.
That's why. I love to give him.
Well, you and I have different approaches. I wouldn't allow once these people make it clear to me that they're just trolling. They're like flat. Dr. Quantum's like flat earther. It's like me when he says, "Well, prove to me that the universe represents some kind of order." That's like saying, "Prove to me that I'm real."
Well, you can think of my live stream as like a farm, and on the farm we have our words. So, I mean, you could think of my live stream as like a farm, and on the farm we have our words. So, I'm an R-word farmer. That's how I see it.
These people are morons.
This debate is actually really awful because they're like, this guy's so stupid, and they just bicker back and forth, and then it gets to a point where like he appeals to his critical scholars.
Dialectical menace, come up and support your criticism of biblical presuppositionalism. Otherwise, you're going to be muted. Okay, stop sending invites, Dr. Quantum and Blundo. All right, let's mute this moron. Oh, he's blocked on my account. What a shocker. No, precept arguments are not basically you're a moron. It's a positive. No, precept arguments are not basically you're a moron. It's a positive case for a point of view with an added or built-in reductio ad absurdum, that the denial of the positive representation leads to contradiction or absurdity.
It's a devastating argument. I think it's kind of a different argument than a traditional argument because it's really like a challenge or a gauntlet. We're challenging you to ground science or ground logic.
All we're simply doing is we are recapitulating or restating God's revelation in the form of a metaphysical explanation or philosophical explanation. But it's a recapitulation of God's revelation of himself. And within that revelation, it contains within it implicitly the impossibility of its denial. So when Van Til said Christianity is true due to the impossibility of denial, that was a completely truncated representation. It just doesn't mean that because the opposing view fails. It's because Christianity has a positive representation that the sum of all perfections, God of the ground of all being, whose character set is necessary in order to establish an appropriate truth, reason, intelligibility in any discussion of actuality, with the impossibility of its negation.
So,
did you hear me earlier talking with, was I in your stream or somebody else where I was on the stereo streams, where I said to him, you cannot doubt the grounds of rational inquiry because that would be self-refuting.
Right. Well, that's why I brought up to even have an intelligible conversation, there has to be some rational order. And so most people, when they debate, they treat the rational order as like neutral, but it's not neutral because I think that order comes from Jesus and my opponent doesn't. So the order itself is not neutral. We have to discuss that. If we don't discuss our foundational where we clash foundationally, we're just talking past each other. because how we evaluate and interpret any. So, like Jay brought this up in the debate. At one point in the debate, I can't remember what they were disagreeing on, but the point is, like, he's like, well, XYZ scholars agree with my view, right? And Jay has his scholars. He has books, right? He has scholars. So Jay's like, well, ABC scholars agree with my view. Well, now if we just have my scholar versus your scholar, how do we know who's correct? So he's trying to make a point about there has to be some like higher authority to make the debate intelligible rather than just assumed.
You see, these people are idiots because we don't say God is one of three in the same sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is why when they try to make the argument from transitivity of identity argument, right? When we say the Trinity is God, the Father is God, Jesus is God. The Father is God, Jesus is God. We're not saying they're God quantitatively or exhaustively. What we're saying that each of them are qualitatively God.
It's like they do, like in comedy, it's called a pun, where you use a word kind of that sounds similar in a different sense to be funny. But they actually do it legitimately, like for debate. They basically like misuse a word concept fallacies and equivocation fallacies to try to like make their arguments. And it's always like they're playing a word game of equivocation or they're trying to pigeonhole you into, oh, this word has to refer to this concept, like they do with the definition of atheism, like a word concept fallacy, where they're trying to pigeonhole the definition to insulate themselves from defending their view. I don't know. I guess I'll just.
Thing in your hand
This is really like
is
terrible.
still one thing.
This is fundamentally stupid. The number
It is
itself,
fundamentally stupid.
numeral,
You're
the
right.
symbol.
It is so fundamentally stupid.
Okay, so this, what is this?
It's the Roman numeral too.
And what is this?
2.
Right. So
Right.
they both refer to what?
Those numbers, those symbols mean 2.
Right.
To
Is
what?
this one thing as a whole?
The number
This
is
one
2.
thing.
The number
Is
means
this
2.
one thing on the page right here?
It is one thing on the page, yes.
Thank you. It's
One
one
symbol.
in many. You just admitted it.
But it's still one thing.
Are you fundamentally stupid? You just
I'm
said
asking
it.
you to say one thing. You can put
Are
number
you-
2 on
Neil,
my head and say, I'm
one.
Are you fundamentally stupid? He's not understanding that the mathematical object, like if we think of the number, what it refers to.
Yeah. Our biggest problem in dealing with people online, you, me, other people, Jay Dyer and others, it's not that we're dealing with people's ignorance, although there is a lot of ignorance out there in metaphysics. They're just dishonest.
Yeah.
Okay. They reserve the prerogative just to be argumentative, to be evasive, deceptive. They don't want to grant you anything. And that's a cheating tactic.
He's feigning ignorance to delay the conversation from moving
Okay,
forward.
come on up here and explain how God is imaginary. Okay, until you do, you're muted. Oh, that's right, you're blocked on my account. Okay, what a surprise.
Well, what would differentiate imagination from reality if it's not Jesus? Oh, that's right, nothing.
So let's take, for example, I was talking earlier today, I don't know if you heard me, about a guy referring to the dragon in your house, or dragon. Okay, they're channeling Carl Sagan. Okay, now Carl Sagan was a really smart guy, and I enjoy listening to him because not only because he's really smart on a lot of stuff, he's kind of weird and peculiar. He's a fascinating person to listen to, but at the same time, he just shows his utter incompetence in metaphysics, because what he's doing is he's making an argument in metaphysics because what he's doing is he's making an argument via an analogy, but an analogy that does not fit the self-revealing God-dependent world. Okay, so the analogy is constructed based upon the caricature that the unbeliever has about the God believer's presentation of God. So it goes to show you that even somebody who is of extremely high IQ, high academic achievement, such as Carl Sagan, can get the most stupid adolescent line of reasoning, which Sagan did. Doesn't make him a stupid person, but that reasoning that he gave is stupid. Yeah, stop sending invite, Blumbo. You're going to get blocked.
And many is the point of this. So something can be singular and also many at the same time. For example, an object like a book. Neil, is a book, does it have, and can be singular and also many at the same time? For example, an object like a book. Neil, is a book, does it have many parts? Yes. Okay, is it also one book?
It's one book.
Thank you. So it's one and many. So objects can be one and many at the same
It's
time.
still one
Answering
book.
your question.
Yes, but that now you have a problem now. You have one entity with three parts. How do you make it three distinct things?
So
You
to
don't
argue that something can't be one and many at the same time.
I can have different parts. I didn't say that. I said one can have different parts. I didn't say one can be many at the same time. That's why the
You said
emanations is a
something-
better account for
The
emanations accounts better.
That's exactly what you said. Something cannot be one and many at the same time in the
It can
same way.
have many parts. Is what I said.
No, you said quote.
He declared in the debate that the monad can account for diversity because it has emanations that are different.
That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Welcome, Pink Panther. What do you want to talk about?
He hasn't connected yet.
Yeah, I would encourage you to stop jibber jabbering with these people once they make it clear that. Yeah, I would encourage you to stop jibber jabbering with these people once they make it clear that they're dishonest and they're not going to, dialogue, with character. Just remove them.
Well, I've been doing. I don't know. I've just been doing. I'm just having fun with them. Like sometimes I'll sing a hymn at them.
No, just remove them. Okay. Pink
Sometimes
Pan, what do
I
you want to
start
talk about?
preaching.
I'm totally with you. I'm a Christian. I just want to ask you a question that I'm struggling with. Does the devil know our thinking, our thoughts, or not?
I don't think so. I don't think he has ability to read minds.
I would say that he knows you. He's been watching you your whole life, though, and he can predict probably accurately.
I don't agree with that. Satan does not have the ability to watch multiple people.
Really?
So,
Well, how come when they do like a seance, do you not believe that? Or like when the demons are possess people and they tell the priest like secrets about their childhood that no one would know? You don't believe that's real?
Well, that's a good. I'm not aware that that's actually happened. Okay.
Well, I've seen interviews.
So if somebody's going to say that demon or Satan can read your mind, I would like to hear a good rationale for that.
Because Elon Musk,
Satan and demons have been studying human behavior.
Yeah, they
which is
understand.
reflective of their thinking.
They can predict
And
it probably
so they
accurately.
know human thinking. They know a lot of information. Okay, so they can know things, right? That would blow us away.
But if you have a friend,
Take Marilu Henner. Do you know who Marilu Henner is? She's an actress.
take
She was on
everyone's.
Taxi. She has the ability. She has this unique ability to remember vivid details of every day of her life. She can tell you what the weather was on her 13th birthday. She can tell you what the weather was on January 7th in 1983. Okay, so a being such as a demon or demons can collect information and retain it and pass it on to others that would far exceed human beings. It doesn't entail from that they can read minds. Now, it might be the case that you might come up with a good rationale for that, but I don't know if you could support that.
That capacity, because
I was saying that to P. Mars.
Oh, I don't think they can read minds, but I think they're like always watching us. They have like
Yeah, they have
people watching
a vast
us.
ability to retain information about people.
And well, what I've watched, because I was very interested in the subject of demons personally, and so I watched. Now I know I don't believe in the Catholic Church, but they had a Catholic Church, but they had a what do they call it? Seance? Not a seance. They what is it? Exorcism. And I've seen interviews, and they say that these people who are possessed will display like strength, like a little child will be able to throw off three grown men, like be outpower three grown men, or they'll be able to like speak all these languages, right, that the person
Oh yeah,
doesn't know.
I agree with that.
And they've said that one guy was saying how the demon started bringing up something in like junior high that was like an embarrassing fact about his junior high. That's something that happened to him. So they seem to know a lot of things. I don't know. I don't think they can read minds, but I think that they're very like intelligent. It's kind of like if you have a best friend, you can kind of predict what your best friend's going to do because you know them so well. It's kind of like that, I think. I don't know. I've always been interested in demons. There's pretty good evidence for demons, but of course people go, "Oh, it's a hoax," no matter what. Like there's cases where police officers.
That's because demons don't want to produce manifestations in a part of human history or the world where they're pushing materialism or naturalism. That would be counterproductive. But in other parts of the world or in history where they're not advancing naturalism, then they will do certain types of manifestations.
Well, there's instances where like police officers have witnessed things and hospital staff, and I think those are very credible because you can make an argument that the family's lying to get publicity or fame, but why would like a police officer lie, or why would a nurse or a doctor lie?
Oh, something can
What did you want to say?
be one and many at the same time in the same way. I wrote down a quote.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Never stop
Is
saying
this
that.
book one thing and many things at the
It's
same time?
one thing with many parts.
Mhm.
That's different.
One and many.
It's one thing with many parts. It's different.
So is
Like-
it one and many?
Oh, you're so obviously wrong. Just admit you're
It's
wrong.
one book.
You see how adolescent this guy is.
Yeah.
He's trying to pretend that he's erudite.
Yeah, they're all so fake. I was calling this guy out before I got banned last night. His name's Carbon, and he goes live and he gets like 300 viewers, and he's just a total fake debater. And I was like, "You're just a fraud, bro. You're fake." They're all
Carbon is
fake.
his name?
Yeah, with a K.
I'm
And
not familiar with him.
he's just typical woke. Like he defends all the left issues, and then he makes fun of Christians, of course. They hate Christians mainly because of the gay thing. I think I'm convinced, right?
Well, it's amazing to me how
Gay thing. I think I'm convinced, right?
well, it's amazing to me how they are chronically moralizing. Chronically. And yet, but wait a minute, how do you get an on from an in? You guys are saying morality is subjective, yet you constantly are speaking and invoking as though you're invoking some obligatory value system or morals.
Yeah,
These people are I can't say the word here.
well, they're massive hypocrites because like they go on witch hunts. They engage in all cult-like behavior that they accuse Christians of, and rightly so. Like they're not. There's a lot of bad behaving Christians. There's a lot of kooky cult Christians. So it's like their criticisms aren't necessarily wrong. It's just there's no nuance. They have kind of a adolescent mindset.
With many parts. That's
So
how you
it's one
describe
and
it.
many.
It's one in many. It's one in many parts.
Thank you. That's so you.
That was
refuted your original-
that was
you
cheap,
admitted
dude.
your
That
previous
was
thing is false.
anyone
You
watching
just
this with a
cut over.
normal IQ understands what just
And
happened.
now you're going.
Anyone watching this with a normal IQ understands what happened, he says. That was a gotcha, Jay. That's
into
cheap.
ad hominem.
What are you using logic for, Jay? That's not fair. You used
Oh,
logic.
you're right. All right, we gotta lay out the ad homs. Okay. Is there any more questions? Scott?
Sure.
I want to know what the Trinity. I want to know how the Trinity. You're saying the Trinity could be 1 and 3 at the same time. Fine, we can move past that. I think it's nonsense.
He just explained it. What the hell, man? Unbelievable. Welcome, neighbor.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. What would you like to say?
Well, I was wondering, why you guys believe in God?
The
A
undeniable
personal God, that is.
proof that you cannot rationally deny God's revelation in the Bible because it's necessary for like math to work or for science to work. It'd be totally absurd to deny God's revelation.
But
To work or for science to work. It'd be totally absurd to deny God's revelation.
that's presupposing that that is the case, as you just stated.
No,
What if it isn't true? What if there's some other
it's
explanation
a-
and reason why the world exists?
it's a proof, right? Because if we ask the question like, why does math work? Well, math is eternal and unchanging, so it has to map onto some reality that's eternal and unchanging. But you can't empirically get to that type of because you can't observe something eternally, so there's no empirical unchanging reality, and you couldn't rationally get there because logic already assumes that that there is this unchanging reality. So the only way we could know the unchanging reality is if it's a person that communicates in human history and creation. That's what Christianity has that nothing else has.
Okay, but doesn't history show that that is false? That God hasn't communicated with us?
No, publicly accessible historical fact.
Well, I agree he's a fact. It's a fact that a man called Jesus existed. I don't see how you think he's divine, though.
Because if Jesus isn't God, then all we have is human authority, and then everything would be absurd. Everything would just be truth would just be a human opinion.
If Jesus isn't God, there are still facts of reality. It just means that your religion is false, and there's some other explanation for why we're all here.
No, because facts require context. And so if Jesus isn't God, facts have no context. It's like Jesus is the context for all facts.
Okay. If a Muslim would say facts would have no context if Muhammad wasn't a prophet for God and Allah wasn't real, would you buy that?
I would have a counter argument. I wouldn't just hand wave dismiss what he's saying. I would present a counter argument.
Okay, what's the counter argument?
That Allah couldn't ground a logic because Allah is a Unitarian God, and if God is one, if everything is one, then distinctions would be an illusion, and knowledge would be impossible. So that clearly is absurd.
Yeah, why are you invoking a worldview that you conclude is false?
The same reason you guys talk about other religions.
Guys, you know something? You guys that we talk to on the internet, listen, Big Mike, why don't you listen and try to learn from somebody who knows a little bit more about this stuff than you do? Okay, Big Mike, you guys, and I'm using that as a generalization, are fundamentally stupid when it comes to metaphysics. You don't even read. You don't. Let me explain something. Look, dude, you have. I will. I get irritated with you people when you glorify your stupidity and your own ignorance of metaphysics.
You're just going in.
Hey, listen, Mike, I'm not going to. Look, Mike, I'm about to kick you. Okay, goodbye.
You scared
That's a sea lion.
No. This is the mental illness that I'm talking about. They are fundamentally ignorant of metaphysics, logic, philosophy, and theology. You see, if you took somebody who is very educated in metaphysics and logic and philosophy, all right, and they did it for a living, even if they fundamentally disagreed, they would typically not behave that way. They might be evasive and deceptive in a more sophisticated way, as certain academics will, but you're not going to see academic skeptics who are teachers for a living behave in this way. And we see this so chronically among the internet skeptics. They are so grossly immature. It's pathetic. And good, thanks for posting, Big Mike, so I can block you on my account. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but you already admitted the contradiction, so you can think it's nonsense sometimes.
Oh, you think I did.
You said the
You
part
want people to think I did.
Is
You
it
want
one
people to think
minute?
I did. It's one thing with many parts.
So it's 1 minute.
So it's one thing with many
And
parts.
minutes. Thank you. So again, you're repeating yourself over and over.
You're getting you want me to say that? I'm sure. You want me to you want me to be incoherent?
You know what? As much as
I'm
I
not-
disagree with Jay Dyer, I mean, I vehemently disagree with him with Eastern Orthodoxy. I think he's dead wrong. But at least the guy is smart, and he's not cocky ignorant.
Well, it's just like you have to study. None of these people study logic at all. I have no idea. This is like, welcome, neighbor. Actually, William Lane Craig said the same thing. William Lane Craig everyone should learn logic. Is like people don't really, they don't get it.
Tyler, you want to talk about?
I'm actually kind of like a agnostic, kind of a skeptic.
There's no such thing as kind of agnostic. Agnosticism is a self-identification that does not hold up upon examination. You are indirectly denying God while verbalizing neutrality. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
I'm neutral because
hey, Ty, how old are you? Ty, how old are you?
18.
Okay, good. I'm 64. So why don't you learn from somebody who's old enough to be your grandfather? Claiming, identifying as being neutral toward God does not settle the issue. Hey, Ty, I'm Jeff Bezos. Do you believe me?
I do not.
Okay, so doesn't my self-identification settle the issue?
It seems to.
No, it doesn't. So I'm Donald Trump. Am I Donald Trump?
No.
Okay, so telling me you're neutral and verbalizing an identification you're agnostic, does that settle the issue as to whether you are in actuality neutral? Suppose somebody tells me they're a brain surgeon, and I ask them a simple question: what is a synapse? Okay, what is a dendrite? And they don't know. So you telling me you're neutral is not decisive in settling the issue as to you're neutral. You're just claiming you're neutral. Now, in practice, okay, in terms of your actions speak louder than your self-identification. Your action is through non-acceptance of the necessity of God revealing himself in creation is a functional de facto denial. Your refusal to accept that God is the ground of all being is a functional denial of the necessity of God, while masquerading verbally as being neutral, but you're not neutral.
Mm-hmm. So what would you call somebody who doesn't really know yet? I haven't looked into the evidence.
Okay, again, when you say, again, you're not even listening to me. Because when you say somebody doesn't know, that's begging the question. I reject the notion, or I could say it's a loaded question, although you didn't intend for it to be a loaded question. I don't accept the fact that human beings that have reached a certain level of neurological development don't know God. The Christian point of view is a logical development, but don't know God. The Christian point of view is all men, all human beings, when you reach a certain level of neurological development, you know that God exists. Now, if you want to tell me that there is someone who does not know God, then implicit within that stipulation is that the world around us overwhelmingly does not indicate ultimate intentional design, but it is rather an illusion of design. But then you'd have to defend that the world is an illusion of design.
Not even that someone doesn't know God, to even say God possibly exists is a denial of God as well.
Yeah. but that's a little bit that's more sophisticated to understand why saying it's possible that God exists is in a way an indirect denial of God. So simply invoking neutrality doesn't settle the issue. So if you refuse to accept the necessity of God for whatever reason, that's a functional denial of God.
I'm not trying to refuse the. I see what you're saying. Like to even say that he might not exist is to say like we have to explain everything in a different way.
No, we're saying that you're denying the God.
Like to even say that he might not exist is to say like we have to explain everything in a different way.
No, we're saying that you're denying the God that's made himself known to you, obviously.
Yeah. So if you say it's possible that God exists, then that characterization of God excludes his absolute non-negotiable necessity.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Now, this is a little bit more sophisticated analysis than most people are prepared to understand. But the point is simply this: agnosticism only thrives because people accept the self-testimony. But this testimony doesn't verify itself. Okay? So the refusal to accept the necessity of God for everything, the very act of not accepting it, is a functional denial. The denial of God need not be formal. It can be informal. It need not be direct. It can be indirect. It need not be overt. It can be covert. Okay? So all agnostics are, in fact, in practice, atheists, while they're verbalizing and even to themselves that they're undecided when they've already decided that God is not absolutely necessary.
Okay, I see what you mean. So how do I know how do you know that he's necessary?
By the only way that we could know that he has taken the initiative through his revelatory actions to reveal himself clearly in creation, in that everywhere we look, from the smallest scale to the grandest scale, the world overwhelmingly and literally uncontroversially appears to be the product of ultimate intentional design, with the impossibility of arguing that the world is an illusion of design.
So if someone was able to make a coherent claim, they would be able to say, I don't really know.
No, that's an impossibility. Because in order to do that, so first of all, the idea that the world overwhelmingly and mind-bogglingly appears to be designed is uncontroversial.
Like in what ways is it?
Let me explain. I will explain it to you. Okay. So if you go into ChatGPT or Gemini and ask it to give you dozens of quotations from atheist academics, quoting where they acknowledge that the world appears to be designed everywhere you look, right? You will get dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of quotations and citations. But the atheist academics will then go on to neutralize what they're affirming, that it is an illusion of design. So in both scenarios, in a world that appears to be designed because it is, and a world that appears to be designed, but it's illusion of design, in both scenarios, the world overwhelmingly appears to be designed. There's not a rational model out there that says the world does not appear to be designed. Anybody who advocates that is either a liar or they are stone cold ignorant. That is why atheist academics say the world is an illusion of design.
Okay, so do you recommend that I look up books, or do you have ideas of like in what ways the book's designed?
Pick up a copy of the book, The Return of the God Hypothesis by Stephen Meyer. M.E. Weidel. I don't think God's a hypothesis, nor do I agree that he's presenting God as, the best explanation. My position is God reveals himself clearly and undeniably, but that's a good place to start, even though I may have differences with the author. It's called The Return of the God Hypothesis. Okay?
Yep, I looked it up.
The difference that I have with him is that the world overwhelmingly appears to be designed because it is, with the impossibility of the contrary, whereas Stephen Meyer, as brilliant as he is, and I have a lot of respect for him, will say that God is the best explanation. I don't take that position. I think it is wrong to say God is the best explanation. The biblical view is God is the only explanation. Okay.
And I guess I'm going to assume that you have other arguments to prove the Christian God specifically, or do you?
The only way to establish the Christian God is to recapitulate or invoke his revelation of himself. There couldn't be any other way. So when we take a look at God's revelation, which is the codified Bible, the Bible reveals that it is inspired by God and that he is the sum of all perfections, and that the sum of all perfections in a worldview will be necessary, without which you couldn't speak intelligibly about anything. So the propositional revelational content of the biblical worldview revealing God's character set, right? It's the only possible rational worldview, because if that is rejected, then you have to explain what the ultimacy of reality is that will enable you to speak intelligibly about your world. And that is an impossible endeavor. So we can know that Christianity is true. We can know that the God of the Bible is true because of its own positive representation in God's revelation of himself, with the impossibility of its rational denial. Now, that doesn't mean that people can irrationally deny him, but they cannot rationally deny him. So Christianity is true due to its own positive representation and the possibility of its rational denial.
For the sake of this conversation, do you have any examples of the necessity of design from the Christian? Do you have any examples of the necessity of design from the Christian God, or should I hear some more?
No, because to deny that the world is designed because it overwhelmingly appears that way, you then forfeit your ability to speak meaningfully about anything.
Sure. So can you?
So let me finish. So then you're not going to have a single causal first principle, both in the past and the present, that grounds and unifies everything.
Sure.
So you're going to need within your model of reality something that concretely and causally unifies everything. But there is nothing to causally unify anything in a world without God.
Yeah, I understand that. So my problem with the only thing I'm a little bit, maybe I'm slow, but to say that is to say that it needs a needs a God in the first place. So is there a way to establish that we need a God in the first place, or do you think I should do some more research? I accept that claim, see what you're saying. I'd have to look into it. But before you can make that claim, you have to prove that it's we need.
Sir, I missed your last three sentences because your microphone is so poor. It's so echoey.
I'm sorry. I'll try to say it again. So I understand the claim, but to make that
microphone is poor. It's so echoey.
I'm sorry. I'll try to say it again. So I understand the claim, but to make that claim, do we not need to show why we necessarily need a God?
The claim verifies itself due to its own internal positive representation and the impossibility of rational denial.
Well, maybe can you explain that in a simpler way for me? So,
yeah. So the claim of the Christian worldview is its own positive self-representation. Okay,
so,
it could be otherwise. Okay, Christianity has to reveal itself.
So you
know what? Listen carefully. Listen carefully. In order for God to be known, he has to engage in revelatory actions, without which he cannot be known. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we defend the reality and the truthfulness of the Christian God, we are simply repeating the positive self-revelation and representation that God has given of and by himself, that's codified in the Bible in a comprehensive model of reality, conjoined or combined with the impossibility of its rational denial. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be persuaded. But what it means is this, is that if you deny the self-attesting Jesus Christ in terms of his own claims through his own mouth and his ambassadors, the apostles, then the moment you reject that he is Lord of all, your position instantly is reduced to absurdity. That's how you can know that Jesus speaks authoritatively, because to deny it reduces you to a boiling cauldron of absurdity.
Okay. I don't want to go in circles here, but do you have any examples for the sake of this conversation of what either needs to be illusion or design?
An illusion is something that appears overwhelming to be one way, but it is brought about. The illusion is brought about by some underlying process or mechanism.
Okay. So do you have an example of that?
Yeah, a magician doing a magic trick. It appears that the laws of nature are being violated, but he's employing some mechanism, unbeknownst to you, bringing about the illusion that the laws of nature have been violated. So when he makes a coin disappear, okay, he's employing a mechanism that is unbeknownst to you, okay, to produce the illusion that the laws of nature have been violated.
Okay, so
so this point is something that many skeptics balk at, but it's uncontroversial. They think it's controversial, but it's not. The world overwhelmingly and mind-bogglingly, from the smallest quantum scale to the cosmological level, mind-bogglingly appears to be the product of ultimate intentional design. It appears that way.
And what
Guys,
like how so?
Okay, dude, I'm going to explain to you again. I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because your sinful nature, you're in a constant state of denial about how the world does. The world exemplify because your sinful nature. You're in a constant state of denial about how the world does. The world exemplify from the smallest scale to the grandest scale, unimaginable, mind-boggling level of complexity, form, and function.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, yeah. So we could go into the intricacies of chemistry, physics, biology, cosmology, of just the mind-boggling level of complexity, form, and function. Okay, and that's what we call design. Now, either the mind-boggling level of complexity and form and function out there appears to be and is the product of ultimate intentional origin, or it's an illusion brought about by naturalistic mechanisms. But defending that they are God-independent contingencies bring about illusion of design is an impossible thing to defend.
It would undermine itself even if you could.
Yeah, it's literally an impossibility. That's why so routinely on TikTok I can be so bold in making this assertion. And I have yet to have any challenger step up and saying, "Oh, I can defend that the world is an illusion of design." I'll take any comer in this world, all right? And it's not unique to me. I'll take anyone, all right? You show me how there are God-independent contingencies that will then cascade or result in an illusion of design, because you have to show that they're God-independent.
Okay. Let's go into one of those. Let's one of them, physics or biology, then, so you can show me how that is a necessity.
Are you insane?
Yeah, you're not getting this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You're not comprehending this. The world overwhelmingly appears to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
We then conclude that the way it appears is the way it is. When we combine with that the impossibility of thinking, we have a valid case. What appears to be this way is this way. Okay? This is why we label some people as psychotic or schizophrenic, because they are aware of something with the impossibility of its denial. They will believe the denial, which is utterly irrational and indefensible. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. I'm going to look in your book for some examples, and thanks for helping me out.
Okay, come on up. All right.
Examples? What the hell is wrong with the person?
Well, he was a young teen male, so maybe he had difficulty focusing.
That's why sometimes I like to make it the way you're presenting it's a bit abstract. Sometimes I like to give them concrete examples.
Yeah, oxygen and water overwhelmingly appear to be necessary for human life, combined with the impossibility of its denial.
It's like you have to tie it to their real life, or it's like they don't get it or something.
No, they're not. There are several problems.
Like they don't get it or something.
No, they're not. There are several problems that combine that cause a mental block. One is the sin nature. It's because every waking moment they're committing themselves to their autonomy. They're not affirming to themselves at every moment that they are creaturely. See, right now, while you're sitting there, at your computer or your phone, and you're looking into your screen, you are at a lower level recognizing that you are creaturely, that you're living and breathing in God's world. What they're doing is maybe God exists, maybe he doesn't, or they'll say God doesn't exist, but they are every moment believing and standing on their own autonomy and independent existence. But this is not something that is rationally defensible.
Well, that's the sin mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. And Van Til talks about this all the time. That they think that they are living and breathing and thinking with independence of God until shown otherwise. But by their own standards, it's not a justifiable position. So when they insist that we prove that their existence is in dependence upon God, by the same standard, they haven't proven that their existence operates with independence from God. They're so habituated to think in an unbiblical way.
It's even worse
that
than
when we present the biblical way of thinking, it's like how do you know that? And when we explain it to them, then they're like, they don't want to believe it. Like that idiot I was talking to earlier, when he says, if it could be proven that God exists, would you accept it? And I would say that's an incoherent notion, because that's like saying, if it could be shown that the grounds of rational inquiry don't exist, would you accept that they don't exist? Well, that would be a self-refuting statement, because the grounds of rational inquiry would have to be true first in order to show that the grounds of rational inquiry don't exist. And they don't understand that that's the nature of God. They're not thinking of God in a biblical way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when they ask for proof, it's like they've already denied God as like the foundation for proof.
They're smuggling in their God denialism, and then they are asking you in an indirect and clandestine way to falsify their God denialism. But they don't want to be upfront about their God denialism, so their God denialism is verbally camouflaged as being unconvinced.
I was thinking about their approaching the Bible the whole wrong way. Like, they're taking like the Bible and putting it in the courtroom of human judgment, but you have to like
a truth teller. That's not what we have said. Okay, we didn't say God is real simply because we say so. So come on up here, truth teller. I'm glad to talk up with it.
When you read scripture, it's important to understand that scripture is authoritative, and that it has to be obeyed first and then understood second.
Yes.
It's important to understand that scripture is authoritative, and that it has to be obeyed first and then understood second.
Yes. So notice truth teller wants to mock and scoff like 2 Peter says that they will. Yet he doesn't want to come up here and discuss it like a man, because he's a girly man. This is a diagnosis that the great Austrian psychiatrist, the great Dr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, diagnosed.
You're talking about
girly men.
No, you're thinking of Hans and Franz.
No, Dr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, do not bring up equality. He's another mentally ill skeptic.
He was rude to me. I joined his live, and he's rude to me.
I've encountered him dozens of times, and each and every encounter, he's psychotic. So you see, they haven't heard this line of reasoning. By the way, we should emphasize. Have you read Van Til and the Use of Evidence?
No.
Have you read Van Til and the Use of Evidence?
No.
You should definitely read that. Okay. It's in the Van Til folder, and I knew that it was a really good book. It was highly recommended to people who were in the know, and I couldn't find any electronic versions of it anywhere. So I bought. It's a small paperback book. It's a very short read.
I
But
made a
it's-
video out of it. I made a AI video
Yeah.
out of it.
And Van Til is not opposed to traditional arguments and the use of evidences. It's just that they have to be properly presented. Like a lot of people think that I'm presenting intelligent design. I partially am, and I'm partially not. Okay, I'm presenting the same kinds of information that the intelligent design advocates are presenting, but I'm not presenting it abductively. Okay, to present it abductively
Yeah.
is to cater and grant the neutrality of the opponent.
Dyer made a big blunder at the beginning of his opening. He talked about that the Christian worldview is the best explanation for these transcendental categories, as opposed to the only explanation.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for those of you who know, because I'm on a precepts panel at the moment, who knows? It could end at any moment if he pisses me off. But he cut me a check. But he cut me a check for $2,000, and that's why I'm here. So just so you guys know, because he paid me, I'm on here right now. Right? So people are so wondering about why I'm here. And I do want to thank you for the check. It did clear.
I'm actually blackmailing him because he's in the files.
No, actually, just so everybody knows, P. Mars paid me $2,000 to come back and join him because he so desperately needs my help.
There's Darth Dawkins in the redacted files.
Yeah.
Proverbs 9. Whoever corrects a scoffer gets himself abuse, and he who reproves a wicked man incurs injury. Do not reprove a scoffer, or he will hate you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, like when they laugh at us and stuff. It's like they actually demonstrate
Imagine,
the Bible.
you know, equality now is both queer and Canadian. Imagine having those two strikes against you. I bet he's also short.
I like this one, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. Always learning and never able to arrive at a
Come to
knowledge
the
of
knowledge
the
of the
truth.
truth.
Men corrupted in mind and disqualified regarding the faith. So they're always seeking truth and they never get there. It's a sign of a corrupted mind.
Yeah. You see, when I first started studying Van Til, it's not that I disagree with him, but it was an entirely different way of thinking. And then once I absorbed his reasoning, okay, the basic concepts, and I'm like, wow, this is hiding in plain view, right in Scripture from Genesis 1 to Revelation.
And it says Satan has actually blinded them to the glory of God's grace.
Exactly. Yes. Welcome, Kieran. What do you want to talk about?
What's happening, people? How are you?
Good. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about God.
Okay.
I was thinking, right? Someone asked me, thought about it. I think, or I believe.
Hey, how old are you?
36.
Okay. Can you get to the point? Listen, can you get to the point without all of these dramatic pauses?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to rush? Okay.
No, I don't want you to rush. I just want you to get to the point.
Yeah. I believe God's a combination of the combined consciousness of all living beings and the forces of the universe, like gravity.
Good. And why is that not a figment of your imagination?
That's just what I believe.
Okay, sir.
I've noticed that.
Hey, sir. Are you listening to me? Okay. Hey, Karen. I understand that you believe it.
Yeah, man.
But that's not an answer to my question. How is your belief not a figment of your imagination?
Because it's a combination of, it's kind of grounded in reality.
Okay, you are so stupid. I'm gonna have to remove you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remove you. You see how fundamentally stupid these people are? It's, okay, good. Next time somebody says, how is God true? I'll say, because he's grounded in reality.
Say he's something is grounded in reality is so like
Yeah.
meaningless. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what?
Yeah, these people say the most.
Something is grounded in reality is so like
Yeah.
meaningless. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what?
Yeah, these people say the most stupid things.
Like,
No, I removed you not because I disagree with you, but because what you said is so fundamentally stupid. I
reality.
just don't want. Look, I've been doing this for 16 years, and I no longer have tolerance or patience with people that just come up here and they're totally clueless, right? And once you lift up the shade and you show me that you don't want to exercise your critical thinking skills, then I'm done with you. To sit there, when I say to you, how is what you believe not a figment of your imagination? For you to sit there and say, oh, well, it's grounded in reality, it's a colossally stupid response, and it's non-substantive, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the word reality there like has no content. Like, what reality? Like, you're not identifying it. It's like entirely vague.
I want to talk with people who are mature, intelligent, and are exercising critical thinking skills, and we can disagree at length. But once people make it clear that they're intent on disregarding what I'm saying or just saying colossally stupid responses that have no substance to it, like saying it's grounded in reality, they're just wasting my time. Welcome, James. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, I think I can answer the question that was posed to Kieran, the last guest, a little bit better. You asked him, why is it not? He said it's the collective wisdom of humans. You said, why is that?
That's a lie right there. That is not the. Hey, dude, stop.
No,
okay,
man,
don't. I don't have to kick you. Do you want me to kick you? If you don't stop right now, I'm kicking you. Okay. To say that it is the collective wisdom of all humans is a complete lie.
He ran away.
All human beings do not agree with that. People is a complete lie.
He ran away.
All human beings do not agree with that. People are so stupid. Look, for those of you out there that are the least bit interested, I'm not insulting, being rude, or trying to be mean to people. If you're going to come up here, you have to give it an intelligent presentation. I don't have to agree with it, but if what you said is at the intelligence level of a 14-year-old at the cafeteria table, on. I waste time with stupidity.
I asked this guy, like, why do I have to follow the rules of the debate? He goes, because everyone got together and agreed that these are the rules. I go, well, a bunch of people got together and agreed the Bible's true, so therefore the Bible's true. And he goes, oh, no, it's not. In that case, it's different.
Yeah, welcome, Paul. What do you want to talk about?
Paul Willis. Hello.
Yep. All right, I'm going to remove him.
Mars to Paul Willis. Come in, Paul Willis.
No, I removed him.
Willis.
No, I removed him. No, James Buckley, you're an idiot. I interrupt people with cause. I do not interrupt people gratuitously as a devious, deceitful debate tactic. I interrupt people because they're saying really, really stupid stuff, and I don't like people wasting my time. Okay. There are plenty of people that I talk to that come up and state things that I categorically don't agree with, but I don't, at that juncture, interrupt them because they're expressing themselves intelligently. But when somebody says something colossally stupid and they've already given me an inkling of what their reasoning capabilities are, and I have 16 years of experience, I've learned not to be patient with these people and just simply to get rid of them because they waste my time.
Are you there, Paul?
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to come up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
But yeah, I appreciate your work. I'm
No
just
worries.
listening.
No worries.
Look, I don't want to have to talk with people where I give a remedial education on basics
No, it's like
skills.
they want us to teach the metaphysics, and they're like, okay, now I'm gonna disagree with you on what you just taught me. It's like, what are you doing, man? Why don't you go read a book, know the topic, and then they want to debate without knowing anything about what they're debating. What are you doing?
User 7462, I have a policy that if I block somebody on my account and they request that I unblock them and they don't have a prior history of trolling and stalking, then I unblock them. And so since you've made the request, I've unblocked you. Anarchist Monk, come on up and defend your accusation that I'm disingenuous. Otherwise, you're just disingenuously accusing me that I'm disingenuous. So come on up here and explain how I'm disingenuous. Otherwise, your accusation that I'm disingenuous is disingenuous. Come on up. I sent you an invite.
See, there's a good reason why
Come on up. I sent you an invite.
See, there's a good reason why I don't block people, because then they can get a second chance to get unblocked through me. Because how would he message you to get unblocked? You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, don't bring up no to Greeter Kyer. He's an apologetic whore. He's a pig. He's somebody who puts on his knee pads. Yeah, you're not welcome.
I didn't add him. I thought I.
Really. Bye. Okay.
You betrayed me, Matt, too.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. You know, I used to be friends with him.
No, he betrayed me for Tom Rabbit. He whores around with Tom Rabbit.
Well, he's an absolute whore. He's an attention whore. He's an attention whore.
Oh man, I'm gonna leave. I gotta edit this now. We were saying bad words, and I got nervous.